So this week I want to talk to you about a book called Start by John Acuff. It's sitting just here. Intentionally stuck it in the camera so that you could see what I was looking at. It's a fantastic book. I've only gotten through the first two chapters, but John Acuff talks about a couple of points I wanted to drive towards, and that's why I came up with the idea of fear. His definition of fear might be something different than what you're thinking about. When I talk about fear, I don't talk about arachnophobia or claustrophobia or anything like that. I talk about fear of doing something that's out of your norm, out of the box. If, for example, if I could use myself for example, and I'm going to do that a lot. I recently had a doctor's appointment, and the doctor went down a path I wasn't necessarily comfortable with, but I kind of just said, okay, that's fine, whatever. And then as I got further down track, we were talking about sleep apnea, for example, and he wants me to go get another sleep study done to prove that I have sleep apnea when I already got a CPAP machine upstairs, for example. So to me, it didn't make sense. Why do that? But I didn't want to argue with him because I didn't want to have a fight right there with him, like a Walmart fight with him in the doctor's office. But it's fear that drives a lot of these types of things for me, and a lot of the, I don't know how to put it best, a lot of my personality, if that makes sense. So it's fear that I think drove me to a lot of my problems I had late in my military career. Fear that I get yelled at by someone, fear that I wouldn't be accepted, fear that I'd be pushed out, fear that I don't know, fear that I would make, second class from senior chief straight down, getting busted down just simply for expressing my opinion and holding my ground. Fear. In this sense, it's also what he uses as starting a new program, starting a new regiment, starting something completely original. So he uses it as a case of arguing that he uses actually the case to say, do you want to be awesome or do you want to be average? I was talking to my middle child, Bryn, and I was talking to her about some of the things that go on between my dad and me, between my other family members, and I asked her, I said, what would you think when my grandkids, when your kids come talk to me, what do you think they're going to want to talk to me at this point if I do nothing for the rest of my life? If I literally just sit here and just do work and admin for the rest of my life, what do you think they're going to talk about? And she didn't know. I said, well, what about the Navy? She goes, well, you're already done with that. And I said, exactly. So I'm going to go the next 40 years of my life, potentially still living off of that, sitting on my laurels and living off nothing but the Navy. And that's not what I want my grandkids to come see me for. I mean, they can come talk to me about the Navy, that's fine, but do I want them to come talk to me about some other thing I've done later in life that I've been able to push past, that I've been awesome the entire time, or do I just want to be average? Is that what I want? Not me. But that struck home for me. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about it. So he brings up a point, talking about the author, he brings up a point where he talks about his daughter compared herself to a very famous author, the guy who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And he points out the fact that we were all awesome once, right? In our 6-year-old minds, we were all awesome once. When we thought about an artist, we thought about drawing something, we had inspiration from somewhere, like Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah, I really like that guy. He has a really good imagination like I do. And if you think about that for a second, when you said that as a 6-year-old, where Leonardo da Vinci has an imagination like you do, that's your peer at that point. If you think about that, a 6-year-old could walk up to da Vinci and share a conversation. It wouldn't be a very intelligent conversation necessarily, but it'd be a conversation almost on a peer level of inspiration, of, what's your muse, that kind of stuff. So we all had it in us at one point that we weren't afraid. We weren't afraid to do whatever we wanted or compare ourselves to whoever. So it's just, as a thought, that struck home for me pretty hard, that I think I wanted to be a physicist or an astrophysicist. That's what I wanted to be. And I saw these numbers and I wanted to do all these things and I thought I could definitely do it. And then I found out I'm okay at math, not great, and my pursuits were elsewhere. I really didn't like to do homework either in high school. So let's be fair. But so that's So he drives towards that point where this little 6-year-old daughter, as an example. Touching back on, again, average versus awesome. So I had to think about that. And I was already going down the track of wanting to put this vlog together because I had gone to a Dave Ramsey event and they inspired me. It was the Boston conference that they just had in April. Fantastic conference, by the way. If you ever get an opportunity, they're holding it, I think, Kansas next. If you get an opportunity to go, by all means, go. It is inspirational. He has a bunch of speakers that gets up there and talks about. In fact, this guy, John Acuff, is one of his personalities. We're big Dave Ramsey folks in this house, but they are honest, they're earnest, they're genuine people that are talking about their experiences and they share them with you in a way that matters to you. So it sounds hokey, and if anybody knows me, I'm basically a robot. I'm Sheldon Cooper, right? I've been called before. I went the range of emotions through the entire thing. Any one of them could get me to laugh or cry. That's how good these people are. And they talk about finances, they talk about your kids, they talk about your marriage, they talk about spirituality, and to some degree, they talk about making good life decisions. And that's where I came up with the idea of doing this because it's something I enjoy and something I have no fear in doing. In fact, I'm doing something that, I put lighting up. If you look around the room, my wife and I put lighting up in here. We are moving past the idea of simply just doing something to go through the motions. That's admin to me. I did admin for a very long time in the Navy, my entire career. I'm good at it, but I'm not passionate about it. I think admin's a tool to be bureaucratic. Admin's a tool to punish people. I've seen more often than not. But it's not where my passion is. My passion is helping people, and that's why I'm doing this, and that's why I won't stop. So if you are a fan of my page, just keep in mind that you're going to get an update a week. It's going to happen. And I promised I wouldn't say and that's probably the 4th or 5th time I've said it. So John Acuff just reinforced what everybody else at the conference was saying already. And I don't know if they've got the same drumbeat. If Dave Ramsey tells them to, hey, make sure you kind of toe this line. However, they all have kind of the same type of motivation. He talks about, again, defeating fear, being able to go and just do and thinking about the future at that point. You don't think about what you're going to look like at 80 necessarily. I kind of thought about it. What do I want to look like? Kind of like in theory, but I want to be a billionaire and, specific metrics. I don't know what that looks like. And this might not even be the path I take. I could eventually be a public speaker where I talk about, I don't know, fracking, or where I talk about any topic. I guess fracking came up, but if I talk about, even, Stephanie Meyer's books, just over there. I don't really want to talk about Stephanie Meyer's books, but if I had to, that might be what I made popular about. But that's not the point. The point is me coming in here, sitting here, talking to you, and pressing forward, doing, because I could hopefully end up helping someone. That's my hope. That's what drives me. That's what gets me to get up in the morning and come down here at 4 a.m. and to whine and to cry and to be a little baby about my lighting in my room, and then have my wife suggest a bunch of suggestions, and we put it all together, and we grab extension cords and we put it all together, and I've worked for the last 2 hours to try and set this up, and it may not look perfect, but I'm passionate about it. Where 2 weeks ago, you couldn't have got me out of bed at 4 a.m. There's no possible way. I woke up at 3:30 and couldn't fall to sleep. I truly believe that's when you know you're passionate about something. So I would say, as a recommendation, is find where those two circles, what are you good at? I'm good at talking, I guess. If anybody who knows me and has been to some of my speaking events knows I can talk for days, literally days. I enjoy it. I enjoy engaging with people. And then beyond that, the topic I'm specifically talking about, where we're trying to press past our issues and trying to be somebody else, not the person that lays in bed, that can't get up, that can't even brush their teeth in the morning, that can't take a shower but once a week. I've been there. That sucks. but I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't think anybody really wants to be that person. They don't intentionally wake up in the morning and go, you know what I want to be? I want to be depressed. They don't wake up that way. They want something different. And for me, that's what this is. So highly recommend reading the book. Again, this is only a way to start doing something from scratch. He talks about things in here, which again, I'll go over at a later date. He talks about things like having so much experience in a project before you become an expert. Are you willing to put the time in to become an expert? There's 5 different scales of, you're a beginner, you're learning, you're an expert in your field after 15 or so years, depending. He said the scale is about 10,000 hours worth of doing the same thing over and over again. So I could learn a guitar if I wanted to. I'm not passionate about it, but after 10,000 hours, it's a lot of hours, physically just plucking away and goofing off, 10,000 hours, I could become an expert in that field, right? As long as I stuck to it. So, and then beyond that, he has an actual progression. Again, I'll go over that once I learn how to do cool graphics on the tube of you, as it were. I got to keep my videos to 15 minutes so I can upload them to YouTube. But so I wanted to leave you with that. If you could send me comments, please do. I know few people are looking at this, and if you're looking at this a year from now, just still send me a comment. I don't mind. They go directly to me. I'll answer every comment until I get blasted with 1,000 a day, and then I definitely won't be able to do it. I'll have to hire somebody, which will be awesome. To hire people, that's my ultimate goal, is to hire a team of people. But do send me your thoughts, send me your feedback. If I said if you could count how many times I said it, that'd be fantastic. So I don't plan on going back and actually reviewing the ums. Let's say it again. But do send some feedback. Give me something back that I'm providing to you. Few people are probably going to look at this, but I hope that, again, in a year, people are still sending me comments about this video. I hope I'm still doing this, and I don't just hope. I fear that I'm not. How about that? So with that, thank you very much. Have a great day. All right?
Utterly despised by the crowd with plastic lives. It smells like rotten egg and looks like cheaply made